Yes, Tom, what's up?
You want to record a show?
Only if we do it this way.
I don't know if people will be able to hear it if we do it that way.
You know, that's a new thing now by the Whispercasts. You've heard of this, right?
Okay, yeah. The whole
I didn't know that was a thing.
What is that? What's that? I cannot remember the scientific phrase for it now.
Oh, I have no idea.
There's that name for doing that, and it makes people get all ooh.
It's got to be creepy in the ear. So.
Yeah. Oh shoot. All right. Well, we'll figure it out later, folks. I'm sure one of you has already posted it in the comments for this YouTube video. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Howard, co-executive producer for the Daily Tech News Show. Join me as a co-executive producer for only $10 a month. In addition to the fancy business cards, you will get that special feeling inside knowing that you are supporting the creation of quality content. Go to patreon.com/acedetect. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT.
This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, March 18th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Mr. Iyaz Akhtar, Senior Associate Editor at CNET.com, host of way too many podcasts for me to remember off the top of my head.
I'll mention them. I host a thing called NetPicks on CNET. We talk about the stuff that shows up on Netflix, Amazon, iTunes, wherever. The 404 with Jeff Bacalor, who's awesome. Some stuff on GFQ Network, like PWP, Podcast Without Pretense, that is, with Jonathan Strickland and Eric Zandine. And another show that will be coming back in April, so I'm not going to promote it until then. Deal with it.
All right. So look for it in April. Meantime, we got some cord-cutting topics to talk about. If you have followed Iyaz in our various and sundry ventures throughout the years, you know that we're both interested in this sort of watching TV over-the-top thing. Sony PlayStation Vue launched today. We're going to compare it a little bit to Sling TV and some of the other options out there. But first, the headlines. TechCrunch reports Microsoft's Executive VP of Operating Systems, Terry Myerson, told the audience at WinHEC in Shenzhen, China, that Windows 10 will launch this summer in 190 countries in 111 languages. He also said Windows 10 will be a free upgrade for all Windows 7 users. You're just like, well, I knew that, Tom. Ha, you didn't know this part. Regardless of whether the user can prove their copy is legitimate or not. And now you're like, actually, I read that before I listened to this show, Tom, so I knew that too. But anyway, pretty impressive. Kind of an amnesty program for Windows pirates. And Microsoft will give select Xiaomi Mi 4 users the chance to test Windows 10 on their phones. And yes, they're Android-based Mi phones. So I don't know if it's some kind of dual boot or if you have to replace the OS. But an interesting partnership. Both parties being a little mum about it, Iyaz.
Yeah, I'm freaking psyched that Microsoft's like, you know, wait a minute. Windows can run on that phone. Why not just make our own ROM? I love that idea that Microsoft's that aggressive because there's so many great Android handsets. If that's the only thing that stops you is just putting in a ROM, that's pretty awesome. And then the idea of like giving away free Windows 10 to pirates, that's like the most friendly thing I think I've seen Microsoft do in like, well, for a while. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, and it's incredibly smart because they're giving Windows 10 away to everyone but big enterprises, essentially. And why not bring those people into the fold who previously were trying to get around the rules rather than continue to punish them? If it's going to be free anyway, you're not going to get any more money out of them. You're not going to make Satya Nadella knows they're not going to make money off selling individual copies of Windows anymore, and that they should be more concerned with market share so they can continue to sell the things they do make money on, like Microsoft Office, etc. So yeah, I think this is really, really like almost obviously smart, but not the kind of thing that maybe you would have expected Microsoft to do in the past.
New Microsoft, new rules. Sounds great. Let's move on to CNET reporting on the launch of Sony's PlayStation Vue Internet TV service in New York, Chicago, and Philadelphia. So limited release, starting at $50 a month after a 7-day trial. Subscribers can watch 60 channels from CBS, NBC, Fox, Disney, Scripps, Turner, and Viacom, with AMC coming soon. $10.
I have to correct you though. You misspoke and said Disney instead of Discovery. I don't know if you even noticed it.
Sorry.
But that's a big difference there because it is no Disney. Carry on.
I saw what I wanted to see. You're right. Disney and ABC is not. They are not on this service, and we'll get to that eventually. Thank you for correcting me. $10 extra adds regional sports channels, and another $10 adds 26 various other channels. The service provides 3-day on-demand access to many shows and allows a cloud DVR to store recordings for up to 28 days. Streams can be viewed on the PS3 and PS4. Support for iPads and other devices is coming soon.
All right, there's the facts, folks. We're going to talk about whether this is a good deal or not, or maybe it's a good deal for some people and not others in a little bit. Meanwhile, Tim Cook talked with Fast Company in a wide-ranging interview that touched on all kinds of things. Obviously, they touched on Steve Jobs' legacy and how it affects the way they do things at Apple even today. There are comparisons of Apple with Microsoft. Cook said he thinks Apple is more willing than Microsoft to walk away from legacy technology that holds it back. He also, unsurprisingly, said the Apple Watch will be the first smartwatch that matters. Doubtless that is true to Tim Cook.
That matters. I love that. And Gadget's got a story on HTC's new Uh-Oh protection. That's what they're calling it. It's a program that will replace your broken 1M9 smartphone once for free. HTC will replace your phone for free within the first year of ownership if you break the screen, damage the phone, or move carriers. If you happen to take care of your phone like a responsible person for the first year, you'll be rewarded with a $100 discount on the purchase of a new One phone in the future.
That's really clever. Because you're like, oh, so I'm just going to beat up my phone and get a new one. But why? Why would you do that? Especially if there's an incentive to be like, well, I get a $100 credit if I take care of it. But if you do have some kind of accident, you don't have to worry about having to have paid some crazy insurance, blah, 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 blah. You just get it replaced. And even if you just switch carriers, that's insane. The Verge reports Google X's Astro Teller spoke at South by Southwest, telling the audience that Google's research lab is opening up about their projects more often and earlier. He mentioned that the Google Glass Explorer program was an attempt to do that, but he admits it was marketed poorly. In fact, it was probably marketed too much and too often implied it was a finished product. He also talked about how balloons for Project Loon were actually built to fail on purpose so that they wouldn't accidentally drift into illegal airspace. He told stories about self-driving cars avoiding ducks and how the team was actually disappointed when a drone delivery prototype they were testing didn't crash in windy conditions because they didn't feel like they learned anything from it.
They should program. They got to program that drone to fail like they did the balloon. I don't know what they were thinking. Got to build that in.
Maybe that drone was so huge it was too big to fail.
Exactly. CNET reports that a German court in Frankfurt has given a preliminary ruling that could ban UberPop. This means UberPop's carpooling service will not be allowed to run in Germany and could face a fine of 250,000 euros. That's $266,000. The case against UberPop was brought to court by Taxi Deutschland, which argued that UberPop is illegal because drivers do not have the proper licenses to drive people around. Since the ruling is preliminary, UberPop can still operate until a final verdict is rendered in 3 to 4 weeks. Uber Taxi and Uber Black services in Germany are unaffected.
So this is the origin of Uber. UberPop is like UberX here in the U.S. It's the ride-sharing service that they're saying is illegal. But that's not the end of Uber's troubles today, as we find out as in the news from you. These are a few stories that we like to highlight from our subreddit. Now, lots of the stories we've already talked about are on the subreddit too. You should go there, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Get some voting in. Let us know what stories you think are important. It helps us put the lineup together. Look at the Monkeys notes The Verge reports French police visited Uber's Paris office as part of an investigation into UberPop, seizing email documents and smartphones used by drivers. To complete the hat trick, starfuryzeta noted the Gizmodo story that Uber CEO Travis Kalanick and almost 30 others have been charged in South Korea with operating illegal taxi services. Police there seized 432 items as evidence, including some handsets used by drivers. Wow, 3-front war all in one day. Crazy.
Good luck, Uber. You're going to need like a lift or something. Encrod 2. Encrod 2 found the popular science write-up of Grant Campany, the director for the $10 million Qualcomm Tricorder X Prize, speaking at South by Southwest about how close we are to having a real working tricorder. The prize will go to companies that can develop a home device to track vital signs and diagnosis up to 15 health conditions. 10 finalists were recently announced. The next round comes with 480 testing sessions in June at the University of California, San Diego. The winners of the competition will be announced in January 2016 on Star Trek's 50-year anniversary.
Yeah, one of the prototypes they were showing off at South by Southwest involves a necklace, an earpiece at a base station, and something where you have to prick your finger to do a blood test. This is not a handheld wave it at your body tricorder. Just want to make that clear, but still pretty interesting. Pretty cool. Guy from Trinidad sent us the story from Engadget reporting on the fate of 43-year-old Nigel Wilson in England, who flew his drone over 6 football stadiums as well as Westminster and the Queen Victoria Memorial. Wilson has been charged with contravening the CAA's Air Navigation Order 2009, which, among other things, forbids flying a drone near an event hosting more than 1,000 people. Wilson was summoned to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on April 16th. Bet he got some sweet footage, though, don't you?
Oh, maybe. He's getting charged for it. It must be good then.
He better have. Yeah, the licensing on that better cover his court costs. And that is a look at the headlines. All right, PlayStation Vue, only 3 cities. One of those cities is the city you live in, though, Iyaz. Are you going to subscribe in New York?
I'm definitely going to give it a try because 7 days of a free trial, might as well try it out because the way it works, it's supposed to basically be about the shows more than finding channels. So you're not going through a whole mess of, you're not going to have necessarily the same guide. You do have a guide in some respects, but you can just say, I really like the show, start recording it, start keeping it that way. It's supposed to be a very different form of television than we're used to.
Yeah, one thing I was confused about is they have the 3-day live on demand. Same thing as Sling TV. Sling TV has a 3-day on demand for some channels. Some channels don't allow it. Same thing with PlayStation Vue. Some allow the 3-day on demand, some don't. But then you have the 28-day DVR, the cloud DVR service. And so I'm curious why you would limit your channel from even the 3-day on demand if people can just do the 28-day DVR. And one thing I'm unclear about is when you set the DVR, it says that you will get all of those shows for 28 days, but do you get shows from before you set the pass, which they could conceivably do, or is it only like, nope, you'll only get them starting now and going forward?
I mean, it sounds like with the live on demand thing, or the 3-day demand thing, sounds like the catch-up television kind of thing. So if you never set a cloud DVR for it, you'd be able to go 3 days back. I'd imagine with so basically just think of it, as in my head, I'm just thinking of it like a regular cable on-demand service, really. The cloud DVR is really not that different than going onto the on-demand section, and you'll be able to have a lot more than you would normally be allowed to keep because those licenses expire within a certain amount of time. I know I've had the issue with Walking
unlike
Dead.
a DVR, I can't get 2 months behind on Halt and Catch Fire and then go back and watch them months later. It only lasts for 28 days.
Clearly, they're forcing you to actually watch the freaking shows you claim you're watching. I mean, if Netflix did this with my queue, like every 28 days they purged it, I'd be like, I guess I never was going to watch that documentary on the lint brush. But
if this was happening on my DirecTV DVR, though, or anybody's like cable DVR, people would be outraged.
Oh, this does suck.
What? I was still going to watch that. I'm saving that. Or for instance, my wife happened to be in the audience for an episode of The Voice, and she got on camera, so we saved that on the DVR, right? Wouldn't be able to do that at all with this. I don't think that torpedoes this particular service, but I do think the 28-day DVR might end up being a little more limiting than some people are imagining.
Yeah, I think the cloud DVR as a concept is just brilliant. Flat out, you don't have to worry about your PlayStation running out of storage space. Let them worry about it. You're able to stream it. I don't know if there's if you can download the DVR stuff. Maybe you can offload it at some point. So if you wanted to keep it, but this is all conjecture.
I would expect they're going to try to prevent you from doing that. That's my guess.
Yeah. So, but the big thing is the fact that no service. So Sling TV's got their own like $20 service, and that's got some serious limitations. There are channels you can't pause live TV on.
But that's true with PlayStation Vue, right? Oh no, you can play and pause everything. You can't 3-day. Okay, you're right. No, right. Play and pause is a big advantage.
Yeah, PlayStation Vue's got a lot more like a traditional cable system when it comes to the way you can play pause, and you can even fast forward through commercials on your recorded stuff. So that seems really traditional. I think the real test, and I really wish I tested it before the show, and I apologize for not testing it, is how good is this interface? Because $50 a month is effectively what you would normally pay for. So if you already have internet, paying $50 extra a month, you probably could get the same channels, if not more channels, including Disney, as I misspoke in the beginning. Disney and ABC are not on this, so you're not getting any ESPN coverage, which Sling is enjoying. They get to have that. But my question is, for $50 a month, why would you ever pick Vue over Time Warner, Comcast, RCN, whoever, if it's the same amount of money?
Well, it's not the same amount of money, I think, and maybe here's where it gets hard to compare the costs. There's two ways of doing this. The very cable company friendly way, which is the way the cable companies should market this, frankly, is, hey, we provide a double or triple play service that is $80 or $90 a month, and you get your internet and your television and everything, and here's the service that you still have to pay us for internet, and then you have to pay them $50, and you still don't get all the same bloody, that's how you should go about this. And you should, and if you're the cable companies, you should put Netflix and Hulu over there in the cost side, right? And say, and you're going to have to pay for those, even though you really honestly are going to pay for those anyway, whether you have cable or not. I think if I'm on the cord cutter side of this, I'm looking at it as, I don't want to be bundled in. I want flexibility. So personally, I don't have bundled service. I pay for internet separate than television. So to me, it's purely, am I going to spend more or less on television? And if I spend more, am I going to get more out of it? And to me, this is less, and I get more. I get fewer channels maybe, but there are channels on this tier at $50 that I don't get currently. It gives me this beautiful interface. It gives me the ability to watch it on 3 devices at once just without paying extra. I don't have to rent a new piece of equipment or anything. So for $50, I'm saving money. In fact, my personal calculus is to look at this and go, all right, I'm already going to buy Netflix. Already going to buy Hulu. Doesn't matter whether I have cable or not. Those forget that. That's a red herring. So it's basically between cable and PlayStation Vue. I can buy PlayStation Vue, and I can buy Sling TV to get ESPN for $20, and I can buy HBO Now for $15, and I'm still paying less than the basic package on DirecTV, where they charge me a little rental for the DVR, and they charge me a little rental for the HD, and they charge me a little extra for HBO, and it all mounts up to being around, close to $90 a month.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was thinking about when you're talking about the way cable companies would be positioning themselves. Sony could be like, look, you already own the hardware. Even though it costs you like $400 or $300, you already own the iPad. You already own the PlayStation 3. You already own the PlayStation 4. You're not paying a rental fee for that monthly. You're not getting screwed around with an underpowered box from, who knows, Scientific Atlanta, if they exist anymore, I have no idea. But the fact that these interfaces can be upgraded in a very familiar way, and the fact the service is going to change. And that was the last thing. No contracts, right? $50 a month. You can leave whenever you want with Sony's service or even Sling's service. So if you want to combine all that stuff and you want to have HBO or whatever the heck you want to add, it's definitely interesting to see these two things existing at the same time. It's just a matter of time before there's hopefully more like 30 competitors, and there will be some price wars eventually. But right now, $50 is $50, right? It's $50 a month. Is that worth it to you or not? And for me, I don't know if I need the live stream of television necessarily. I mean, I've liked, like I was just mentioning before the show, I was watching a ton of movies I haven't seen. I have a huge list of movies that I'm basically so behind on that I'm like, how on earth have I hadn't had this shared human experience of seeing Aliens? So I go and watch that instead of bothering with cable television.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed about Sling TV is the fact that it isn't trying to mimic cable television. It's trying to fill a slot for certain types of cord cutters. So if I cut the cord, I can get almost everything I want if I buy it through Vudu or iTunes or Google Play or Amazon. I can get it on Amazon streaming, which I already pay for to get the free shipping. I can get it on Hulu Plus. I can get it over the air. There are very few things that I can't replicate except turning on a live channel like HGTV or ESPN and just watching whatever's on. And that's what Sling TV, I think, does perfectly. They say, look, it's not about the channels. It's about, hey, I want to just watch a cooking show. I don't really care which one. Or I want to watch some people looking at houses. Or I just want to watch some basketball. Whatever happens to be on, I just want to put something on. That's what Sling is doing. They just added a bunch of news channels to their news tier that are like France's On 24, NDTV, international news channels, which give me a lot of news that I can just put on and listen to or watch, same as CNN. So I think Sling is trying to fill that niche. PlayStation Vue is sort of splitting the difference. They're like, well, we're going to act like a cable company, but we're going to be much better. And from what I can tell, just looking at the pictures and the videos, the guide seems much, much better than your typical guide. But we're also not going to be super expensive, so we still are providing that just turn on stuff and see what's on, while giving you a little bit more in the on-demand category.
I'm also curious about these network-specific apps. You know, like when it comes to Sling, if you get a Sling TV subscription, you can sign into Watch ESPN, I believe, on the Apple TV. So if you want to just do it that way, you can do it that way, even though there's no Sling app for the Apple television. But there's all kinds of other apps, you know, A&E and ABC and all these other ones that require authentication. I wonder at one point if Sony's service will allow you to have access to that, because if you can access all of these if the app versions of these channels, that's a benefit that can't be denied.
That's another smaller benefit of Vue. They have 10 apps that they authenticate to, whereas Sling TV, as you mentioned, only has one. Now, Sling has said we plan to authenticate Disney apps soon as well, so maybe they'll get something going there. But right now, Vue has the advantage for sure.
And I believe I read something on Twitter. Somebody can double-check me in an email or something, but I'm pretty sure the PlayStation TV box, you know, the little $100 box or $200 box, you can't use this service on. So the fact that it's called PlayStation TV, you can't watch TV with the Vue service on TV, which is really stupid.
And that's a big advantage for Sling, because even though you can only watch Sling TV once, you know, only one can access your account at a time. You can put it on a Roku, you can put it on a Fire TV, on an iPad, on an Android tablet, on an Android phone, on your desktop. Like, there's loads of ways to access it. Whereas right now, PlayStation Vue only on PS3 and PS4. They say it's going to come to the iPad soon, and it's going to come to other devices later. And they're even talking about, you know, devices like Roku, which would be interesting. But for now, you're only limited to PS3 and PS4. And another little nugget that I found reading up on this is that you can stream to 3 devices, but you can only stream to 1 PS4 at a time, which I found odd.
Well, in the case you have multiple PS4s, I mean, Sony should be like, they should reward you. You should have an extra stream. I believe Sony said that once you have.
I think what they're doing is, if you have more than 2 PS4s streaming, they assume that you probably only own one of them, and so you must be sharing your password out.
Well, there's that, and I totally lost my point. So anyway, that was the point.
Well, you were saying they should reward you if you have PS4s and give you more.
Oh, that's right. The iPad version. When the iPad version comes out, Sony did say that once that version comes out, that it will not technically count, I think, against your 3 devices. So you'll be able to pad, no pun intended, how many devices you get to run this service on at one time. So that's a future kind of looking thing. Also, don't forget, like we mentioned before, only 3 cities it's live in. And the fact they have regional sports stuff, very familiar with, you know, that cable style. Although I'm curious, could I sign up with somebody else's address in Chicago because I want their regional sports package and just have it streamed to me? Is there anything that's going to stop me from doing that?
I bet you they geo-restrict it. Even though you're paying and just to make it clear to folks, it's $10 a month extra to get the Sportsnet, and then $20 a month extra to get the Sportsnets and 26 extra channels. They're like lifestyle entertainment channels. And yeah, if you're in New York, you get the Yes Network, right?
Yes.
So as a Yankees fan, one of the few that I like, you would be able to. I'm just kidding. You would be able to. Not kidding at all. You would be able to watch Yes, but could you watch it when you go out to Los Angeles, say, or will it say, "Oh, you're out of your market right now. You won't be able to access those channels"?
If it can actually let you watch your stuff wherever the heck you are, that would be a huge benefit, because it's like being displaced. You know, you want to be able to watch your home TV wherever you are.
Yeah, I think it's great. David Katzmaier has an excellent spreadsheet up that you can link to from the CNET article where he compares PlayStation Vue and Sling TV if you just want to see what channels are available in both. And that was the doc that I looked at and realized these are complementary services right now. They may not stay that way as they both sign more deals, but they are essentially filling in the gaps for the other. There's also a good cord cutter calculator over at The Verge if you just want to mix and match like how much it would cost to do particular services there. But it really is the amazing time where we've gone from talking about why won't TV networks get it and deliver us our shows over the internet to which of the services that are coming out should I buy, and should I buy both of them? How much money should I spend on it, etc. The upshot is, I think you nailed it. It gives you control. You can cancel at any time. You can choose which service you want, and it just puts you more in control. maybe not perfect control, but more in control than you would ever be under a cable company.
I just realized there's no equipment to return. There's no like,
Yeah.
can you come to my apartment to set up service? Can
Nope.
your guy be here? You have to be home for this? No. You just sign up
That's
and you're
all.
done. That's a huge convenience factor. I just realized right now.
Yeah, that stuff's now in the past. That is an ancient way of doing things. All right, time for our pick of the day. It comes from Rob, who writes with something a little different, something you could watch. Riff Tracks. If you're unfamiliar, rifftracks.com features some of the cast of Mystery Science Theater, and they record funny commentary tracks for major films, B-movies, and shorts. Commentaries for major films are offered as an MP3 that you sync up with your legally obtained copy of the film. But if that sounds like too much work, they also offer a great selection of smaller films that you can download pre-synced and DRM free. Some of Rob's personal favorites are Viva Knievel, The Guy from Harlem, Kingdom of the Spiders starring William Shatner, and Cool as Ice. You can check them out at rifftracks.com. That's rifftracks.com. I too, Rob, am a big fan of Riff Tracks and the Riff Tracks folks. They do some amazing stuff. And if you missed that Mystery Science Theater feel, miss it no more. Go check that out. And Cinematic Titanic is some of the other Mystery Science Theater folks doing a similar project. So you can get kind of the best of all worlds there.
Yeah, I got to see Godzilla Riff Tracks, like the 1998 version with Matthew Broderick, like in a theater. That one was awesome. They had one for the Spaceship Troopers, hilarious, and of course the one I got to watch at home, Thor. Thor is pretty freaking hilarious. So yeah, great stuff at Riff Tracks.
Good stuff. Send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Got one message of the day to get to from Warren, who wrote in with an idea. Nintendo has dropped quarter after quarter, he points out, year after year for half a decade, with roughly $6 billion in sales, yet only $29 million in profit. Nintendo has a market cap of $16.8 billion. Maybe now is the time, writes Warren. Time for what? Well, what if another company just came in and bought Nintendo? Say a company with $173 billion in sales, $37 billion in profit, and $8.5 billion in cash on hand. What would happen to the great mobile wars if Apple bought Nintendo and had everyone's favorite characters only available on iOS? What if you could play these games and AirPlay them to your HD TV through Apple TV? What would that look like in every home across the planet? And keep DNA in the mix to continue the development of new games and with our old favorite heroes. This would seem to be the perfect move for Apple. Sorry, this was long and dramatic. What are your thoughts? What do you think, guys?
No. Apple.
Wow.
No.
Just no.
Not at all. Okay, listen. Apple does not want to be in the content business. Okay, that's the reason why they don't have their own record label. We remember years ago we're talking about what if Apple had their own like kind of independent label where people could work through them to go through the iTunes store. Third-party channels came up for that. They barely do software at this point. You've seen. When was the last time you saw iWork get an update, Pages, Keynote, whatever? I know they make an operating system for their computers, but they're a hardware company. And if you think that them buying a Nintendo, which by the way would have to be somehow would have to lose the pride and then sell themselves, which that's the first part I think would never happen. Nintendo wouldn't be like, you know what? Sure, we'll be acquired. Nintendo's far too proud for that. So I think it's a bad fit for Apple because they don't want to be in this business, and Nintendo would never say okay to this. They'd probably go the way of Sega, where they would drop the hardware, continue making software, and just kind of enjoy that world because they don't want to be Atari. Nobody wants to be Atari.
No, nobody wants their ETs dug up out of a trash heap.
What do you think?
Later. I think Warren may have missed that other people have kicked this ball around in the past, and maybe not recently. But investors particularly have thought about this and encouraged it from time to time. Investors are more pushing Apple to buy Tesla right now. You hear of investors kind of asking Tim Cook like, hey, want to take some of that cash and buy Tesla? Don't forget, Apple likes to have cash on hand. That's the way they have always operated. And they operate a little less stingily than they did under Steve Jobs, but they still want to keep a pile of cash on hand because it gives them flexibility. So going out and making huge purchases, even like Tesla, is very unlikely. Buying Beats, I would have considered very unlikely. I just don't see them wanting to spend that much money on something that would need that much work. I don't see them wanting to buy Tesla, which wouldn't need that much work, and to me is a better fit because it's a healthy company on the rise rather than a company that you would have to fix. I really just don't see Apple ever getting into the business of buying a company they would have to fix up.
I see Google buying them first. If there's going to be a company, Google's crazy enough to be like, you know what? It'll lose money for the first 5 years, but we can sustain it because we like Mario. I get to see that being a pet project. Like, yeah, well, we're going to keep Mario alive. That's what we want to do.
I get why Warren got so excited about this because it really does. There are a lot of fits here, right? Mm-hmm. The kind of approach to things about being, let's have a proprietary system. Let's keep all of our property working well with itself and all of that. But I do think that the cultures are different enough too that mostly, Iyaz, your point that Nintendo wouldn't even want to sell is probably makes all this discussion moot.
But good idea.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting and thought-provoking question. So thank you for the email, Warren. Appreciate that. And thank you, Iyaz Akhtar. CNET.com, of course, the place to find Iyaz's works. You're all over the place there now. It's awesome.
Yeah, today we just published the list for Netflix, what's coming and going in April. We got it early, so that was awesome. I want to thank the PR folks for actually getting me that early. That was just so great to have. So if you're like, hey, where can I find that stuff first? We're actually getting it at CNET.com, so you should go there. It's kind of neat. There's also this GFQ Network place where I do some shows. Go to gfqnetwork.com. I work with Andrew Zarian a lot. We do some goofy shows. We're going to be doing some more episodes of Quest for Peace. That's a show we're going to be doing in April. I'm going to go visit the GFQ headquarters and do it from there instead of my little tiny
shanty
apartment.
You're going to go all the way to Queens, huh?
Dude, that's 20 minutes. So that's far away. I got to go to Queens from Manhattan, and that's
back to the homeland.
Yeah, back from whence I came. Well, that's actually north of where I came from, but whatever.
Close enough. That's awesome. So gfqnetwork.com. Don't miss that as well. Quest for Peace is a great show. Check it out. Thank you, patrons. 4,878 people giving us the ability to do this show and continue to grow it. So if you've been on the fence, waiting for a reason, now's the time. We're trying to get closer and closer. In fact, we're getting very close to that goal of having Veronica Belmont and Scott Johnson as our regular contributors. So if you get $1's worth of value out of the show and you've got $1 to spare and you haven't already given it to us, check out patreon.com/acedetect. If you have given us the $1, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And if you're like, that's not really for me, check out dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Listen to the show live at tunein.alphageekradio.com. Tells you all the places you can find Alpha Geek Radio. And you can visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This podcast is part of the Frogpants Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
What was that? Oh, that was Jenny coming in, I think.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
And Roger.
Airport.
I like the dramatic reveal of Roger, by the way. I love that way to go.
Airport Wi-Fi, not so good.
Jackie, I don't have a car anymore, so I don't bother with that. Sorry, go ahead, Jenny.
I was just trying to turn off Alpha Geek Radio before I came into the call because there were 2 different versions of this reality going on.
Yeah.
It's very red where you are.
That's because I'm sneaking in the Virgin America Lounge despite being on JetBlue and despite not being upper class.
Wow.
Do they know you're in there?
I paid.
Oh.
I'm a dirty payer. Hi, how was the show? I liked very much of what I heard.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, I thought we had a great time. Iyaz, did you?
It was quite enjoyable.
To be honest, it's fine.
Yeah, it was fun. It's just we got to talk about. I'm just lucky the PlayStation Vue stuff happened today. Because I'm just like, this is exciting. I like this stuff.
I am only sad that I can't install it. I did put Sling TV on my Xbox. We should have brought that up. And that is now definitely steering me towards using the Xbox One more again.
You know, what's
now
hilarious?
My over-the-air TV and my Sling TV go through there.
Katz was like, have you ever watched live TV lately? And everyone's like, kind of like, no. He goes, it sucks. There's like these giant commercial blocks, and you're waiting for everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about that because I'm so used to watching stuff on demand that the commercial breaks are relatively short. If they, on the Xfinity app, because I still have access to that, like when the commercial breaks are 4 minutes, I'm like, I just grab my phone immediately. I'm like, I'm not even looking at this, even though I can't skip it. So live TV, it's great to be able to get that stream, that feed all day, but like, those commercial breaks are just long.
Well, it is the wrong. Live TV is horrible for watching a show you want to pay attention to, and for a lot of people, that's all they watch. But other folks like to just have it on, like the radio. In which case, I think that's what these kinds of services are going to be built toward, and that's why I think Sling TV actually has a better product in some ways for those kinds of people. Because it's a lot cheaper, and if that's all you want it for, you don't want to pay $50, and you don't need that many options. I don't know. I think they're for different people, I guess, is the thing.
I just don't want to have to buy, like you were saying, buy Sling because it's complementary in some degrees to the Vue service. I don't want to have to think which device or app I'm supposed to go to.
Well, if Sling TV would come to the PlayStation, then then it's all over. Because then you're all you have to do is know, like, oh, ESPN is on Sling. I mean, then it becomes like which is on Hulu, which is on Netflix. And yes, granted, I would like one thing that just tells me where everything is, but I could deal with that if it's like, am I watching Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Sling, or Vue?
Because the Roku search that searches cross app, it's on Roku 3 and I think and lower. It's really quite good. And I got to talk to the folks at Sling back at CES. I'm like, hey, some kind of support for the search. So if I search for, let's say, Real Housewives of whatever, I don't even know what. Just pick a town, Los Angeles. If I search for it, will I be able to go into your app to find it? They're like, we're working on that. We don't have it yet, but we're working on that because that's really killer. If oh, Netflix has season 1 and season like 806 is available right now on Sling, it's playing. That would be the real thing because then you're like, oh, maybe I should get Sling TV because it's an option, but that's down the line.
Wow, Tinvec must not have liked it. The leading showbot title is "Pay More, View Less." VUE.
You get 60 channels, and that's.
I know. I'm not sure that fits. Stealing free stuff.
Oh, that's right. I was let down because the audio output on Vue is stereo. It doesn't do 5.1. I was like, damn it.
Oh, I like Dark Redeemers. The view looks pretty high from here.
That does sound good.
I'd just like to state that my flight was delayed for 3 hours, and I find this mildly unacceptable.
3 hours?
Yeah, and it was only 30 minutes when I checked in, and I was like, oh, that's fine, I don't care. 3 hours by the time I got through.
There should be like a more harsh word for delay once it reaches past an hour. 3 hours is like a massive delay, but is there?
It's
you guys
insultingly delayed.
There must be another word for delay that means excessively long delay.
You know, the thing about Vue, and the only reason why I might actually sign up for it is because they're doing powers on it.
Yeah, but you can buy that anyway.
I thought Powers wasn't on Vue. I thought that was Sony PSN.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, you're right. It is. Well, then
you don't need to get Vue to get that. I watched the first half hour of the first episode, which you can get for free. Yeah. I would watch that before you.
No, I've seen it. And you know, it's you know what, a lot of shows are a mixed bag the first 3 episodes, which is why I give every new show 3 to 4 episodes in, usually 3. Remember, what was the one with the dinosaur? They went they went back in time to repopulate Earth back in the age of dinosaurs.
Oh,
I gave
right.
like 5 episodes, and I gave up.
I think I gave that one 3, and then I gave up because I liked a lot of the people in that one, so I kept hoping it was going to get better.
It did.
Iyaz, you know what rhymes with delay?
What's that?
JFK.
You know, in that case, ORD and LAX also rhyme.
I haven't flown out of JFK in a while, so I'm happy about that. I get to fly out of Newark now because it's much closer. But whatever. They're all equally crappy.
You know what rhymes with delay?
Better
flying.
I don't think you know what that word means.
I do do not think that word means what you think it means.
Do you want to hear my JFK horror story? I think I told Tom this. Patrick and I were out in New York at the PC Mag offices. We were working there, and we were flying out the next day, and so we were going to fly out. And they told us, they called Patrick at like 9 p.m. and they said our flight tomorrow was canceled. I said, what do you mean canceled? I said, we can't find the pilot. So you can't find the pilot.
You don't think you'll find him by tomorrow?
No, they just can't find. Yeah, they just couldn't find him. So, or her. And so Patrick haggled with them. Like he just, well, not haggled. He just argued with them, and they offered to fly him out of the best they could do is fly out of Newark. So we had to go all the way out to Newark, and then we got like these hotel rooms. And since the flight was so early, because he managed to get them, he managed to have them give us vouchers for another airline. Got to the hotel. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. I took a shower, got dressed, got in bed with my shoes on, slept for 45 minutes, woke up, wheeled my stuff down to the lobby, got in the shuttle for the airport, went over to the Delta desk to get our tickets, and then we got in, I think, some other flight, and then we ended up in Cleveland for an hour and a half layover, and then we flew back out to SF.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful harbinger of doom for my trip. Also, Roger, can we talk about putting some stuff on your walls?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Just like decals or those, what are those guys, the football guys that peel onto the wall?
I don't follow football. Don't project your sporting culture onto me.
I bet they make like Mario Kart fatheads.
Maybe
I can turn my camera around if you want.
Maybe you get like a series of drones behind you and they spell things throughout the show.
Why don't we kickstart Decorate Roger's Wall?
Oh, I love it.
It's like if we reach the goal of $15, we can get a tapestry.
We will buy one fathead of Princess Peach.
No video game characters either.
But we'll get a nice big picture of Hellboy right back there.
Maybe.
That'll totally work.
Yeah.
I actually have a bunch of posters I need to put up. You know what? Kickstart the command hooks for me.
Okay. All right.
If we reach our goal of $7,
$25. You'll have enough command hooks.
Exposed brick going like crazy.
I purposely left that blank because I didn't want anything falling on the baby when she was sleeping in the corner.
That makes sense.
Well, you could. What if you velcroed the baby to the wall? Like, that's active,
I'll Velcro
interactive.
you to the wall and see how you like it.
Oh, I'm up for it. At least I can consent to it.
Let's kickstart it. We'll kickstart a thing to Velcro Iyaz to a wall.
That's excellent because one, I would have to fly out, which is even better, and I have to go in the suit. So make sure I wear the suit and the helmet. And every pre-show I have to jump into it. I think it's the best way to go.
It seems a little derivative of Letterman.
No.
Well, if you want to kickstart an original idea, we can do that too.
Yes, pay us this much and we'll come up with an original idea.
If you pay us $19, we'll come up with a better idea. $20, a good idea. $300 will get you a great
stretch
idea.
goal. Yeah, I see. I see where you're going with this.
I like the stretch goal. Yeah, it's like give us $1,000. You might find it amusing. There we go.
Give us $100. We'll have Iyaz jump into the Velcro. Give us $200. We'll come up with a better idea than that.
Actually, that'd be kind of creepy if you were back there, Iyaz, just Velcroed and you're just kind of moving.
Well, do I have a phone to like promote entertainment? Do I have headphones on? What am I doing back there?
You're hanging out, literally.
And
at the end of the show, I could just peel you off the wall.
This show is over. Iyaz gets ripped off the wall.
Yeah, Roger walks out with like a painter's cap and overalls, and
that could be a shtick. It could be a different individual each time, and then we could offer people the chance.
Then it becomes a Patreon level.
Yeah, exactly.
Jump up on the yeah.
I wish it would like maybe the Velcro strength or whatever was holding the person up back there would time to the show, so you could like it's kind of like you're gonna fall off by the end. Yeah, you just slowly like the Velcro's removing itself from the wall or some other adhesive that doesn't work, like Post-it material, like that kind of glue that can be peeled up easily. This is a thing. I'll just hold signs for sponsors. I like that
until
picture.
Mollywood says so.
Well, that's actually a good idea. That's very reminiscent of Chris Pirillo's Rent My Chest for $20. Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
Give me $20, I'll write something on my. I'll write your logo on my chest.
Good
times.
If you want to recycle ideas, you can put a green screen back there and like sell each pixel. You know, 1 pixel at a time.
Oh yeah,
they could, like $1 million wall.
Yeah, the $1 million
remember that
homepage.
site?
Yeah,
I love that stupid little thing.
Yeah.
But would anyone be able to say, I guess. I could put just a giant green screen, and then we could give viewers the opportunity to insert a non-lewd or controversial background.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be like,
Well, these ideas are too good for us to sit on, so we're going to go see which ones we'll put into action. None of them. Talk to you tomorrow.